Music up. Everybody must get fed up of me dancing back and forth. Hello, everybody. Here we go again. A very special guest this week. Ah, see, we've got one person watching, Jackie.
Oh, it's not just you and me.
Nice bit of music we're playing. This is We Are Family, and this is family. This lovely lady is my family. So if you're on, make a comment. Let us know you're there. Say something like boo. We are family. I've got all my sisters with me. I'm a cousin. We are family. You know everybody dance. We've got 2 people watching. I've got all my sisters with me. Hello, everybody. I'll turn the music off in a minute. I just like this tune. Hello, Bella. Bella's my favorite fan. Okay, so we've got 3 people watching at the moment, but I'll just leave it a minute because it's only 1 minute past 7 o'clock, according to this, or 2 minutes. I'm hoping you've had a great day, Bella. And she can talk to us in a minute. She will talk to us. Yeah. Hello, Katrina. So, Jackie, you can't see these people who are coming on. I can. And if there's any comments on there later on that are relevant to us, I'll click on it and then you'll be able to see it, as will everybody else. So, okay. So, very, very special evening this evening because I bullied this lovely lady into coming and talking to me, and she just accused me of doing that.
We're still trying to work out. No, hang on. We're still trying to work out who's got the biggest, bossiest pants.
I think you might win on that one. Hello, Kate. Lovely to see you again. Kate was with me this morning because she's in my class. So, okay. So I'm going to introduce the lovely lady that's sitting here with me, who happens to be my cousin Jacqui Riminich, who lives in Melbourne in Victoria. We have to say that quiet because she said people hate Victorians at the moment.
Hang on. I need to put on my mask. Hang on.
I was going Yes.
I'm allowed to talk to you.
Yes. Keep out the way. Leper, unclean. Hi, Anna. Nice to see you on here again tonight. Okay, so Jackie is my cousin, and so I've got various things I've written down here, and I wanted to introduce her because hi, Sandra. Jackie is a naturopath, and she has been my port of call for many, many years when I've been sick. So we're going to talk about the lockdown, how it's affected people, what you can do to help yourself, and how you can lift your mood, and just general things like that. So we don't want to do anything specific because we can't diagnose, or we can't because you've got to have full case notes for all of that, haven't you? Anyway, let me go into a little bit of our background. So we actually had only met in the UK about 3 times, I believe, when we were very, very young. I think that was right, wasn't it? Roughly.
Yeah.
I've actually got to be very careful, ladies and gents, because this lovely lady knows all the dates and times and everything as it happened, and I just, yeah. Sorry.
Time means nothing to Val.
No, I know it doesn't. It life is life, and you just get on with it. But anyway, so yes, you came to Australia in 1968. 66. I wasn't far out. Okay.
No,
so, and you were, how old were you then?
I turned 9 when just after we arrived.
Okay, that's right, because 1968 I was 13 and started a different school. That's why I had that date in my head. So you came here and we lost complete touch. And, you know, families get on as they do with one thing and another. You got on with life here and had an absolute wonderful life, so I gather. And then along the line, I heard that through the family grapevine that my cousin was sick. So we started communicating. I've forgotten about this until right now. And we started communicating. I would write letters and she would write me books back.
No emails then, Val?
No emails then. It was all those lovely long airmail letters that we used to write, and they'd take a week or so to get there.
So this is 1988.
Yeah. Oh, 1988. So that's 20 years, 22 years later. So, yes, Bella, the answer to that is yes. Hi, Kathy. So Jacqui and I started communicating and doing what I do. I was sending her all the healing that I could possibly give, because I'd heard that you were sick. So it was my way of being able to do something and be able to give you something, even though we couldn't talk to one another. But it's just progressed from there. And then we were phoning, and then we were emailing, and then it was coming up to my 40th birthday. And I decided I wanted to go to Australia for my 40th. And I plonked myself on Jacqui. So I was supposed to be coming with my husband at the time and my daughter, but he couldn't make it. So we came with my mother. Hi, Lynn. Lovely to see you. So we had 3 generations of coming to Australia. It was both mum's and my birthdays when we got here, but it was my baby. And the beautiful flowers that are that way behind me were bought by Jacqui's mum, my aunt, my Auntie Lynn, as a present, because I fell in love with the sunflowers over here. So I've had those flowers for 25 years. I cannot believe that. That's just incredible. And they look very nice.
Oh, yeah, 25 years.
It is 25 years. Yeah, I'm 65 now. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, and she's creeping up behind me too.
You're still ahead.
What was that?
You're still ahead. You're still.
I know. I always will be. So it was funny actually, the story behind the sunflowers, because I had to take them back, and I was absolutely not going to put them in the hold on the airplane. So I took them onto the airplane, and everybody says, "You can't take those," and I went, "Yes, I can," and I won, and I tucked them under the seats, and they arrived in the UK safe and sound, and now they've arrived back here because I'm here. So that was my first trip to Australia, and
I think Mum would be very happy that her flowers follow you around the world.
Yeah, and your mum. So Jacqui and I connected because your mum and my dad were brother and sister. So we have the same grandparents on my dad's side. So Nana, the spooky lady that used to do the tea leaf reading. So we have this it's a family thing, you see. Yes. And Jacqui says that I've got all the spooky genes, but she doesn't believe that she has. So I'm trying to convince her, but she's a bit slow in coming forward on that one. But listen, we've all got our abilities, and Jacqui's got far more abilities than I have in lots of different ways. And one of those, the most important. What? Oh, she's frozen up again. So Jacqui being a naturopath. So before I actually came to Australia, this was after my 40th birthday. I was really,
I can't. Sorry, honey, I can't. You've frozen. I haven't heard a word you said.
Well, I think if anybody thinks I'm. Yes, the one that appeared when I was 7. Bella, tell me if you can't see me, because we're trying to work out whether it's me or Jacqui. I think I'm all right because mine seems to be okay. All right, Jacqui's gone, so she will come back in a little while. I think Jacqui's having some internet difficulties, but while she's gone, So in the UK, when I was 34, I was extremely sick, and I realised that when Jacqui being a naturopath, all I had to do was to ring her up and say, "What do I do?" And she would give me a whole list of things. Thanks, Kate. Okay, it's not me, Jacqui. It must be you. So I was just saying about the when I needed help with my health, I just used to ring you up and say, "What do I do? What do I take? Where do I go?" And you used to help me. Do you remember that? You're having such difficulties with your internet, aren't you? Yeah. Anyway, so okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
And again, but because I knew your history and I know you, it was.
Yes. So please don't ask tonight for a reading, and please don't ask for a diagnosis of anything. Some advice and guidance is what we are going to give, especially with what we're going through at the moment. And as I said, Jacqui as a naturopath is my first port of call, and it's lovely because I've now got a Russian doctor, and she knows that I'll go alternative before I go national, medicine, and she loves it. So I still do the same. I still ring Jacqui and say, "Help! What do I do?" So, so tell us about your situation in Melbourne.
So our premier the other day, yesterday, gave us what he thinks is the most wonderful package. We're still in lockdown 4, and we are still not allowed to go anywhere, and we're still not allowed to meet. And he's lifted the curfew. What a great man! But to be fair, things are working. We all get around with our flashy masks. So at the beginning of this, it was very funny. Anybody who could sew went to Spotlight. There was a queue. It took me 15 minutes to get in the door. And the girl came out and said, "If anybody's looking for elastic, don't ask. We haven't got any." It took me half an hour to get out of the store. And I've come away with, my funky stuff. I ring Val and I go, "Val, there's no elastic in Victoria." She goes, "Oh, I'll go to Spotlight for you." I have elastic. Then the other thing I say, "Well, there's no backing." And she sends me this. So I was at the sewing machine, fortunately for Val, making these masks for neighbours and the family. And the funny thing now is, Val, you go out and you walk, and because we're allowed out 2 hours a day, and people go, oh, I love your mask.
Yeah.
Not, "Oh, I love your jeans," or "Do you like that? I love your mask. Where did you get that?"
Yeah. I had the same thing. I made one with sunflowers, and everybody says, "Oh, I love your sunflowers." Yeah.
But I found one really good thing. So you have to be grateful for what you're given, right?
Absolutely. I'm just going to turn my heater off. Absolutely. So
here we are wearing these. When you do this, you can't wear your sunglasses because your glasses fog up. So we now walk around like this. The beauty of it is, because I don't have my sunglasses on, I don't have that white bridge on my nose. So I've got something to be grateful for.
small mercies. I love it. But Jacqui sent me some masks in the post as well. But talking about masks, my daughter wanted masks for the children, and I made my 2 little granddaughters 3 masks with unicorns and cats, and more unicorns and more cats, and they wear them. They sit watching the television with their masks on. I just think that is so cute. Anyway, so how is everybody coping down there? So Anna, I think you're in Victoria as well. One of the ladies on here is in Victoria. So so tell us, how are people coping?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? How are people coping?
People are, look, It's really hard to say. How long have we been doing this? Is that what you said?
No, how are they coping?
Okay, I'm going to run with that. So the last haircut I got, which gives you an idea, was the middle of July, and that's how long. About what?
How are they? How is everybody coping?
Okay, you've dropped out completely.
Oh dear, what a shame.
Okay, so the story, yeah. So we can't do anything. So what I was going to say, I haven't had a haircut since July because the shops are closed, and everything is closed. So we're just getting on with it as best we can. Fortunately for us, we live in an apartment, so we've got neighbours all around us. So we can chat to them over the balconies, we can meet them in the communal areas, but for a lot of people, it's very hard.
So
it's not working today, is it, honey?
It isn't. Keep going though, and I'll talk for a minute, and you just tell me when you can hear me. So I am very aware from things that you've said, and try saying managing. The longer the word, Kathy, you're funny. But I'm very aware of the fact that people, because they're in the lockdown, it's affected their mood, their mental health, so yeah, and Anna's just saying that most people are not coping too well at all. So as a naturopath and as a generalization, what can people do to help to lift their mood? Now, I know with myself, I'm taking vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin A, and zinc. So that's to stop all the bugs and germs and keep myself as active and healthy as I possibly can.
Yeah. Okay. So these are all generals, and that's great. Vitamin B. So a multi-B is a fabulous thing to do because it's stress and energy. So it just works at balancing everything out. So Bs are fabulous for that. If you get a multi-B and a good brand, and I always talk about brand, which is quality over quantity and cheapness. I wouldn't recommend, and I never recommended to any of my patients, don't get the stuff from the supermarket. Go for at least a half decent brand. Please don't go into Chemist Warehouse and ask them to recommend the best thing. They're not trained. Go to a health food store, get their information, then take that information and take it to Chemist Warehouse and pick your products if that's what you need to do to get it cheaper. Vitamin D, I love. Vitamin D as well, the sunshine vitamin. Like we've had some glorious weather just recently, and vitamin D is a happy sunshine, and it works with your immune system as well, works with mood, works with your brain. So that's always a good thing. And eat well. You know, I can't stress how well food is a part of our life. It's not just nourishing us, but it nourishes us. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing at you at all. I'm just smiling. I'm reading somebody's comment. I'm hoping you can see that comment at the bottom of the screen. Bella has put up there, what is good for pain and body aches? Can you see that at the bottom of the screen, Jackie?
Okay, so magnesium, all-round good guy. Different forms of magnesium do different things, but again, a brand. Sorry, Val, say again.
I didn't know. You're fine. Keep going.
So magnesium. Blackmore's has got a really good magnesium, and another brand called Ethical Nutrients has another that's really good. So they're great. Calcium as well. If you can get a calcium magnesium mix, that's really good. It's really good for calming as well. You know, again, without knowing what the problem is, that's the two things that I would suggest.
Yeah. Well, I think they're good basic staples, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They certainly are. And with any, like, even if you get a ladies' multi, it's going to have small amounts of that in there anyway. But if you just want a multi and then supplement with a magnesium to give you extra magnesium or calcium, that'd be the way to go.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, I don't take them every day, and I know you say don't take them every day, but I take them when I think about it, and I can't believe the difference it's made. So I started having arthritis, and it was really awful. So I started watching what I was eating, and I've been taking the, I'll take that off, taking or watching what I'm eating and then taking these supplements. And I suddenly realized the other day I don't have any pain anymore. It's all gone. So, which is really good, really good.
Yeah. But there's different, but there's different pains as well, Val.
Yes. Yeah. But also, it's to do with the food you eat. I mean, if you're going to eat,
pain is different as well. So you're talking about arthritis. So that's different again. That needs to be tackled a slightly different way as well.
Yeah. So yeah, and the food we generally eat as well, that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? If you're going to live on macros all day, you're gonna end up with trouble.
Yeah. So fish oils are good. Some people are a little sensitive to fish oils as well, and that's fine. There is a vegan form of an omega-369, and it comes from a sea plant that's called sea buckthorn. So it has nearly the same properties. It may take a little longer to take effect, but if you don't want to take fish or you're vegetarian, vegan, that's a good option. Anybody with arthritis or anything in the hands, Phil Val has, being a guitar player, he's got in one of his thumbs, he's got really bad arthritis. So I put him on krill oil, and they're the tiny fish that the whales and what have you eat. So they're the smallest type of fish, and they're really good for the bones in the hand, the bones in the feet. So I asked him about 6 weeks after how he went with them, and he said that his thumb was definitely better. It wasn't totally good, but after playing guitar for 40 years, what do you expect?
Yeah. Well, that's actually
good. Quite good.
Muriel has just asked, what should I take for arthritis? So Muriel, that answer.
Not got a good line today. It's such a shame. It works so brilliantly today.
Yeah, I know. But Muriel was just asking about arthritis, so you've just answered that question. And Bella asked about the. Lynn has just said that green-lipped mussel, arthritis fighter, is a good one.
Yes, absolutely. But again, it's a shellfish, and some people are allergic to shellfish. So you've got to take what's right for you, though. But if green-lipped mussel's been around for years and has worked a treat.
Yeah, actually, talking about that, I wanted to get some. I was going to say cocodamol, but it's not that. What is a general tablet that you take for joints and muscles? Begins with a C.
A doctor's medication?
No, from the chemist. Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. I can't remember what it's called. You might remember, but I took one that was
glucosamine.
That's right, glucosamine. So I took one that was fish-based, and I'd only been taking it for a day, and I woke up the next day and I looked as if I'd been whipped all across my body, and I went rushing to the doctor and said, "Oh my gosh, what's going on here?" And he said to me, "What have you been taking?" And I was allergic to it, so it was, I can't take it.
Yeah,
curcumin. Heather is saying curcumin is good for arthritis as well.
Absolutely, turmeric.
Yeah.
And absolutely.
And what would you use devil's claw for? That's a question I've just been asked.
That, I think, is pain and inflammation. Devil's claw is something I've not used. My patients were mostly ladies of a particular age. So
are you talking about us?
No, darling, not at all. So that was my field. Devil's claw, from what I remember, is pain and inflammation, and anything that can remove or reduce the inflammation is going to reduce pain. Willow is another one. Willow bark is another one for pain and inflammation. But again, you need to be able to look at the contraindications of any of those to any medication you're taking at the same time.
Yeah, and always get, you know, some good advice from people that know what they're talking about. I wouldn't advise going into a chemist warehouse or something and just buying anything willy-nilly. I would always make sure, like I've done with you over the years, I always check if this is the right thing, and you usually say no, take this instead. But Kathy has mentioned glucosamine and
chondroitin, yep.
What are they used for?
There again, arthritis, pain, inflammation, and they're ones that they put together deliberately. So one will be building, let's say knees. So building and protecting ligaments and things. And then working on just taking the inflammation down. So things like that are great for pain and inflammation. And they're tried and tested.
Yeah. So I mentioned food also, and I don't know if you heard, but I said that if everybody ate Maccas all day, they'd be in a big mess. And it is, one thing I found about being on the lockdown and being in this virus situation is, and I don't mind cooking for myself anyway, but I've cooked the most beautiful meals, and I've got my slow cooker out, and I know we're getting up to the warmer weather, so it's, you know, you won't be doing that. But even so, there are so many wonderful things that you can cook. And people say, oh, it's terrible cooking for one. But if you cook a quantity and then freeze them or have them over the week, you know, those sorts of things. And I've had fabulous meals, absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, I have our daughter and her husband and an 18-month living with us as well. So we've got a full house in our apartment. And Erin is a baker. Erin bakes, which is wonderful, and I cook. So between the two of us, the kitchen is constantly in use and is constantly a mess, because one of the things that Erin has started doing for her little one is making him Hulk muffins. So she gets a bag of spinach, she wilts it down, she runs it through the NutriBullet, and we have this green slurry. Then she makes him banana muffins with no egg and no flour, and adds this green slurry into it. So he has Hulk muffins. But the base of it is banana. It's delicious, Val. You should taste them. They're just so good. So he walks around with his Hulk muffin.
Oh, he'd be doing his Popeye bit. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
And then he's got sweet potato and chia biscuits and things like that.
Yeah.
But and she makes him a black bean. So, you know, like the black pinto, they're not pinto beans, but they're black beans. She makes him a muffin with them as well. So and again, it's egg-free, flour-free. And it's protein and it's iron and it's fiber. So this kid has no idea that he's been brought up with really healthy food at 18 months, because that's all he's ever eaten. But you're right. You need to feed your gut. It's not just about this and this. It's all about what goes on down here. And did you know that your stomach is your second brain?
Your what, sorry?
Your stomach is your second brain.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that.
Well, have a think. So everything that you do logically is here, but there'll be something and you'll go, oh, it's not right here. I don't feel right here. And this is that whole thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not feeding your gut as well as your brain, it's it's got to be in moderation. Like, you know, sure. We were talking about a young lady not long ago, and I said to you about her, do the best you can. And if you need to have a day off and eat all the wrong foods,
yeah,
then so be it.
Yeah,
Just be
exactly.
prepared to be maybe a little uncomfortable for the next couple of days. I used to do that with all of my patients.
Yeah.
You know, this is the diet I would like you to have for 2 weeks. Come back
It's
to me,
funny.
tell me what.
It's funny because I've been watching, we were talking about this the other day, I've been watching what I eat because I get this bloated feeling and it is really uncomfortable. So I've been really monitoring everything, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have my gluten-free cereal today. What happened? My stomach bloated. So there's something in the gluten-free cereal that doesn't like me. Gut feeling. Kathy, and Kate's actually heard of that stomach being the second brain before. So, and Kate's a massage person. So you've got to be really careful because you don't know what the contents of anything is really. And I know that I've heard that it isn't necessarily the wheat that's the problem; it's how they store the wheat that's the problem.
Yeah. And there's an ancient grain called spelt, and that was the original wheat. So quite often people who are wheat intolerant, and this is today's modern wheat, may be less sensitive to the ancient grain spelt. So that's something else that, you know, could be looked at, because I know you can get delicious spelt bread and spelt pasta. So and I often buy it and just tell Moth that it's wholemeal pasta, and he knows nothing.
So Bella has just asked a question. What's good for stabbing stomach pain and intense nausea?
Okay. There will be a reason for it.
Yeah.
So you have to investigate what you've eaten, what two things are not working together in that digestive system. You know, fennel tea is fabulous.
I know that.
I know, you know. But, you know,
I've got bags and bags of fennel.
They used to give babies gripe water, which was mostly fennel. So ginger, fennel, peppermint, they're all fabulous. Even pineapple. Pineapple is wonderful for the gut. It's got bromelain in it, and it's really good for digestion. It actually works with the liver to help the digestion process.
Now, I want to take us off onto my subject, meaning the spooky stuff, because that's my favorite. That's my favorite subject. And when you were just talking, so your dad just stepped forward. Your mum's already been here because of the flowers, but your dad just stepped forward, and as you know, I teach, and everybody on here knows that I teach. And Auntie Lynn and Uncle John are one of my most regular visitors through my students, and it is just beautiful. But I love the idea of healing. So you do healing with your naturopathy, and I do healing with my mediumship stuff. And I know when your dad was sick, and I was like you, sending healing out there. And when I came over that time, and your mum was talking to my mum, and I was trying to talk to your dad, and he couldn't converse at the time. And he started to cry, and Auntie Lynn, what's the matter? Uncle John's crying. And she said, oh, he keeps going on about those blooming blue lights and the sparkles and the face. And he's just realized the face that he's been seeing is yours. Well, your dad hadn't seen me since I was 8. So I looked a bit different from 8 to 40. And then I explained to them what I've been doing, and I've been sending healing energies over to Uncle John and Auntie Lynn. And so your dad was absolutely thrilled in his own way. That's how he conversed it. He was really, really thrilled. And then, of course, not long afterwards, your dad died. And then I, out of the blue, got a phone call from your mum. And I said, "Oh, hello, Auntie Lynn. That's a nice surprise." And she said, "Are you still sending those blue lights over here?" I said, "Yes. Why?" I said, "You're grieving and you need the healing." She said, "Well, I've got blue lights coming out of the wardrobe where his ashes are in the urn." And I could just picture all these blue lights coming out of the wardrobe. And I said, "Yes." I said, "Because you need the healing. He needs to let you know that he is around you. Can you tell Henry to make me one as well, please?"
On my special cup.
Oh, I know that cup. Yes. So healing is a big part of what we do as mediums and healers. But to get stories like that to be able to share with people is just phenomenal. I think I've told everybody in the world that story, Jacqui, about your mum and dad, and it is just lovely that they still work with us. And I think that's gorgeous. So Bella's just said, "Oh, and Bella, yes, of course, it's the anniversary today of Bella's very, very best friend. They went to school together, and she passed a few years ago from cancer. So it's her anniversary, and Bella's been seeing butterflies. She knew that she'd show us or present herself, so that is lovely. So M's another one who comes through in messages for people. So yeah, no, the healing part of anything we do is really important. But then we do silly things like, I was remembering today going up to Mount Tambourine. Oh, good night, baby. Good night, Preston. Bye. Oh, look at that grin. A couple of days yet, Bella. Jacqui and I went up to Mount Tambourine for a couple of days, and we're a pair of crazies. And we were walking through the different shops, and they were playing different music, and we were singing our hearts out to every single song in every shop, and people were looking at us as if
like, oh yeah,
that's right, complete crazies. But it's funny because we've spoken about this so often. And I said to Jacqui one day, because when you were doing your naturopathy training, you were going out with your trug and your hat and collecting the weeds and the herbs. And I'm doing my spooky bit. And I said, when we were kids, I said, there's always a house that you have to run past because there's a spooky lady who lives in there or a witch. And I said, we've actually become the witch. So it's funny how the table...
She's the spooky, crazy one.
I can do that. I'm happy with that. Although I do have a tattoo, and it is a witch.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, Val, that story about going to Brisbane, I was thinking about that story as well, because you were living with us at the time. You'd been with us for 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So off we pack. We leave Moth behind. See you, honey. Off we go. But before we get there, I've been having dreams. Like, I'd had a week of dreams, and I don't remember my dreams.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm dreaming about a car. Like, seriously, give a girl something else to dream about except a car. I've got a colour. I've got a make. I've got a model. I know exactly what this car looks like. I say to Val, been having the weirdest dreams. Anyway, I tell her, she goes, okay, it means something. Thanks very much. Get to Brisbane. We get to the car, colour, make, model, everything. So when Val and I are together.
It was pink.
Well, it was a lilac-y pink, yeah. But when we're together, you rub off and I tune in better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it. So I've got it. I just don't play with it as much as you do. I play with herbs.
Yeah.
And that's I'm going to call it my gift because I love it. And yours is your ability to speak to other people, which is wonderful. And I think it's amazing. And it's no different. We're still helping people.
Yeah, and your gift is just as important, but my talking to dead people is important. It's funny because there's a fair few of my students on here tonight, and so I've talked about you coming on here, so they were quite interested to meet you. But it's funny, and another thing that I was thinking about today is when I first came here when I was 40. I mean, I've always had the long blonde hair, but you used to have long blonde hair as well. And my daughter was 5 years old when we first came here. And she walked through your living room, your nice lounge, not the family lounge, the other lounge, and she said, "What are you doing in Auntie Jacqui's pictures, wedding photographs?" And she couldn't believe that we were different. But yeah, Kate's put Jacqui with potions and Val with a crystal ball. I've actually got a crystal ball downstairs, actually.
Yeah, I've got one too, and a potion book.
But it's funny that the common denominator here is our Nana, who was the tea leaf reader and who was the spookiest person in the world. I mean, when our uncle passed. Hi, Adam. When our uncle passed, he was, I think, 23, thereabouts, and he was killed in a convoy of 7 submarines. And there was an almighty crash, bang, wallop one night. Nana went downstairs and there were 7 white spots on the floor. And she touched the last spot and she said, "Douglas is dead." And the following morning, they got the telegram to say that Douglas had died and he'd been killed in this torpedo. His ship, his submarine was torpedoed. But she used to come up with all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And even when we lived in the house and she... and I can't remember, I think Granddad had already gone as well, because we live with our Granddad. And even after, after that, she was always in the house. She would move things, and she'd move things from the back of a shelf that should never have moved. And you'd go, what had happened? It was just so spooky, so crazy. But you grow up with that, you don't know any different. And, thank goodness I'm now doing the job that I do. So the other thing that you love that you can't do is travel.
We just cancelled today, actually, our European holiday for next year.
Oh,
actually,
wow.
We're supposed to be in Singapore today.
Oh,
for 4 or 5 days.
yeah.
So yeah, all our holidays have been cancelled, but. Again, the silver lining, I've not done the Ghan, so Adelaide to Darwin, and I've not done the Indian Pacific, I meaning Myanmar. So that could be something really interesting. And I've just seen an 18-day cruise from WA to Melbourne with New Year's Eve on the harbour.
Oh, wow. Oh, send me the details.
Okay.
Send me the details. Okay. And Jacqui and I, and
travel is wonderful.
Yeah, and Jacqui and Henry have travelled extensively, and the number of times they'd come over to the UK. Oh, I was telling somebody the story. So it was my 50th birthday coming up, and Jacqui had told me that her daughter was going to come to the UK, and you have to come and meet her at the airport. And I changed all my house around and created the single bedroom for her, and she said, she will be wearing a pink coat. And she kept going on about this pink coat. So I went to Heathrow Airport looking for this person in a pink coat. And I found her, and there was lots of hugs and whatever. And all of a sudden, there's this woman standing by the side of us. And I'm thinking, who's this nosy old biddy? And I just sort of did a triple take and screamed
in the middle of Heathrow.
And everybody turned around to see what was going on. But she planned it for a year, and came to surprise me for my birthday. And it was the best month I think I've ever had. I celebrated my birthday for the month. We had a black tie dinner for 100 people. We went shopping for the fancy dresses, and everywhere we went, oh, my cousin's here and she surprised me for my birthday.
Oh, no.
And poor old Jacqui and her daughter were just hiding behind whatever they could hide behind, because they thought, oh, no, here she goes again. But I was just so proud and so excited about the fact that they'd surprised me. And my mum knew, and I didn't have a clue. So it was just, but the funny thing was, we get to my house and I'm thinking, oh, they're not going to fit in the single bedroom. So I had to about face the whole house, because in the UK we live in dolls' houses, according to you guys. But that was really good. But, so I want to talk about one of the things that for me is a pet hate, and I know in the medical profession and in your profession as well, Jacqui, you're going to have people who misdiagnose, wrong diagnose, tell you rubbish, and you, the good guys, have got to put up with what the bad guys have done. And I've recently put something up on Facebook, it was this week, about mediums who give out bad information. And I am absolutely disgusted by what I hear. And people have said to me, oh dear, who's upset you? But this is a culmination of information that I've heard that mediums tell people over the years that I've been doing this. It's caused people anxiety. It's caused people grief. It's caused people to commit suicide. It's caused people to have such a lot of pain and anguish in their life, because some person tells you that this is going to happen. Well, listen, as a medium, we can only pass on guidance and advice, the same as the medical profession. It's up to you to take that, as you want to. But we're not God. We can't tell somebody they're going to die, or their husband's going to die, or, you're going to be diagnosed with this really, really life-threatening illness. You can't do that. And I think you can tell that I get quite passionate about this. I feel really, I felt angry about it every time I hear something. I've spoken to 3 different people in the last couple of weeks who've told me such stories, and I think we're supposed to lift people, we're supposed to help people, we're supposed to guide them and give them, give them that upliftment, motivation, and inspiration. And I know for a fact that nobody from the spirit world is going to come and tell you anything nasty. So and I've been trying to help a lady that has been told such thing. She made a comment on here last week. And I just, I'm just devastated by the fact that people think that they can get away with it. I was always taught we are not to diagnose, we are not to tell people bad things. And, you get an inkling of something. And the number of times I've said to people, oh, you got a bit of collywobbles going on in your tummy, you should get that sorted out, or something to that effect. But you don't say, oh, I see you've got problems in your stomach and it's cancer and you're not going to have any children. And I've heard those things that have been said. So that for me is just totally irresponsible. And I'm teaching students at the moment, and I'm giving them such a hard time, because I'm trying to pass on to them the fact that the work we do, the job we do, is totally responsible. I'm sure Lynn might make some comment about that in a little while. But Lynn is another one who believes, like myself, she's been in this industry for a long time. And I don't know where they get this idea in their head that they can go and tell people all these nasty, horrible things that cause, as I said, death, anguish, and people to live on a knife edge. It's just not right as far as I'm concerned. And I mentioned the classes. If anybody's interested, please let me know, because I'm taking names for my next block of classes, which start on the 26th of October. And we've just had, this week and last week, we've just had the most amazing classes, because we've been doing forensic mediumship. Now, I made a mistake last week, because I picked up I said I'm going to get you some juicy criminals, but I picked up juicy murderers. And one of the girls said, I can't do this. It's so gruesome. And poor love, she just couldn't do it. And then she came back and I said, listen, in the work we do, I've had to deal with people who's had family murdered, and you've got to deal with that, but you've got to deal with that in a really lovely, loving, caring way. So I think it's important, and I'm telling them that what we're actually doing is we're exercising our psychic muscle, and I'm doing that because that's exercising, and we're going up to the spirit and down to the psychic. So we're exercising our spirit, our psychic muscle, and by doing all these different types of things with the mediumship, that's exactly what we're doing. We're learning how to tap into different things, different levels, for different reasons. So this week I picked better criminals. I picked the great train robbers. But we've also done remote viewing, which was done in the Cold War. The Russians and the Americans used to spy on one another using remote viewing, and that's been quite interesting. And I've also hidden something in my house. And they need to tell me where it is, what it is, and that sort of thing. So with the murderers and then the juicy criminals, I wanted names, date, places, addresses, years, those sorts of things. And one of the ladies today, because I had the great train robbers, and she said, I see a robbery, I see a train, I see, I can't remember what it was, but it was, oh my goodness me, and nobody knew what murderers or what criminals I'd actually chosen. So it was very interesting, and I think it sort of just changes it up for people a little bit, instead of just I'm going to say, instead of just talking to dead people, but that is what we do. That is the most important thing. We're looking forward to having you on next week, Bella. So I've actually got a class next week where I'm doing it as a separate to the general classes, and I'm having all the students that can come on together and work with one another. And Bella's just said it sounds like Agatha Christie.
Murder in the dark.
So we've got all the students coming on next week, and they can all work with one another, and they're working with people that they've never worked with before. So that's something different that we're doing as well. So and another group that I belong to, if anybody's interested, is the Fox Pioneer Centre. Now I know I've got a banner for that somewhere, and I will find it. Fox Pioneer Centre, that's the one. And they are a very new company that are doing mediumship training, but they're covering all aspects of mental and physical mediumship. So they're doing trance and animal communication and healing and spirit art, as well as mediumship and psychic. And I'm also going to be doing a forensic course next year with them. But they've got 8 tutors, and they are absolutely top class tutors. I've got to say that because I'm one of them. But they've chosen them very wisely. So the people that in the main, I'd say 99% of them have got awards with the Spiritual National Union. So they're very, very well qualified and well trained people. And I know that also Martin, who was on here a couple of weeks ago, has got his own organisation called the TS Fellowship, where he's got online courses that you can do to get qualifications that are globally recognized. So if anybody wants any of that information and you don't get it quick enough off here, just let me know. So I just think it's lovely that, we can, I'm going to take the banner off somehow, hide, there we go, and we come back up. It's so clever, all this stuff. Anna's just said she agrees with Bella on the Agatha Christie. So Anna, you haven't had a go at this yet. It's it's quite interesting. So okay, so I've already mentioned that healing is an incredibly big part of the work we both do, Jacqui. You're helping people physically, we're helping people, you know, hands-on, absent healing, but it is all about helping people. And, you know, when people are in this situation, especially with the virus, there's a lot of did we talk about something that people could take to help to lift their moods? Because I know that there's a lot of depression and people have said, you know, there's a lot of suicides and we don't want that to happen. So we've got to try and help people in that way. Is there anything particular that we can say to people, give this a try?
Yes. Okay, we're going to do vitamin Bs again, stress, energy, mood. Vitamin C again is going to be another one of those easy things. Vitamin D, getting out in fresh air and the sunshine.
Yeah.
We've had some glorious weather recently. I just said that earlier. And just to get out and get sun on your skin, especially at this time of the year when it's not quite so high in the sky. And natural vitamin D stays in your system longer than a cap of vitamin D. So, and vitamin D needs replenished in your system daily, whereas B's and C's, you excrete what you don't need. So that needs to be done. Val, you've heard of like Jewish penicillin, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
So Jewish penicillin is a bone broth. And I don't advocate anything specific, but if you do want to make a really good soup that's going to nourish your soul, again, everything starts here in the gut. If this is happy, usually the rest of us is happy. You know what you feel like when you've eaten too much and you think, oh my gosh, I feel so, ugh.
Yeah.
Start here and your mood will lift. So, you know, just basic good cooking, multicolors, berries. Berries are full of really good chemical making compounds for your brain. Nutrient levels, of course. Sleep. When you sleep well, your system repairs overnight. Stress will, of course, if your adrenals are on high alert, then you're going to burn yourself out as well. So you need to balance your stress and your energy. I found this the other day, 30 minutes of exercise per day. This is proper exercise, not walking around the supermarket, has been shown to boost the... Somebody said, I do. I go around the supermarket 3 times. It's not exercise.
No.
30 minutes a day has been shown to boost the quantity of immune cells. So we need immune cells to fight the invaders. So a little bit of exercise, doesn't matter what it is, Tai Chi, yoga, walking in the sunshine, dance, go outside and sing. I don't care what you do. And that will help create a better immune system. Moods as well. We were talking about moods before, weren't we?
Yeah.
So when you were in the UK, you would have heard of Bach flowers.
Yes.
Yeah. Here we've got Australian bush flower essence. The difference between one's northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. So there's a little bottle of Australian bush flower essence. It's about $20, and it's called Emergency. I've always got one at home, and I usually take one away when we travel. So for an upset stomach, a little bit of stress. We've been to a few funerals lately, so I usually pop in my bag when we go to a funeral for other people. But, you know, the whole thing is about looking after yourself from the inside out. So if you know, it happens, doesn't it?
So one of the things, though, is that people.
So yes, I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, you did. And I know
mood and anxiety.
Yeah, But from experience, people they're on a downward spiral, and it's really, really hard for them to get off that spiral. And sometimes you just need somebody to give you a kick up the backside to say, get out there and do this. So if anybody needs a kick up the backside, I'm happy to give you the kick up the backside.
Look, there are things you can take that you can get off the shelf. But again, I'm not about to tell you what they are unless I know your history. So, you know, all of the general vitamins are going to certainly do it, at least give you a boost.
That's right. And as you mentioned earlier, the health food shops are great. I know when I've been unstuck and I'm somewhere and I go into the health food shop, they tell me what to get. But you're right, don't buy them from the health food shops because they're too expensive. Then go to Chemist Warehouse and get it cheaper. But no, if anybody needs any help or any help on healing, just send me a message. And I think I've given you my information before. A lot of people know who I am and where I am. But email me. And I know that the lady last week that made a comment about bad information given by a psychic, she emailed me and I've been in touch with her. So I am helping her. So, and I think that's important. You know, I can't help everybody in the world, but I'll help 99.9% of them if I can. And, you know, that's what we've all got to do. We've all got to try and do our bit. And I've been like, you know, not wanting to get up and go out, but I force myself out of bed at the moment, and I force myself some days to go out for that walk, and I'll walk for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 8 kilometers, and I'll, you know, I'll do it. And you come back and you feel like $1 million.
Yes. Yeah. Moth made me do that the other day. I just couldn't get out of my own way. And he said, put your shoes on. I went, why? He said, we're going for a walk. I don't want to. I don't care. Put your shoes on. We're going. And it was an hour and a half. And I came back with the sun not on the here. And I thought, that's it. I feel better. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, listen, for everybody that's listening, and I know other people will come on and listen to this in the next couple of days as well, which is lovely. But if anybody, I'm coming up to see you on Friday, Bella, so I'm going to be giving you that boot up the rear. Don't worry. She knows me. But no, if anybody does need any help, please let me know, because, you know, even if you find yourself a good naturopath, find yourself a good healer. I do healing. I do absent healing. I've got anybody that's got names, I've got my healing book here. Any names that anybody wants somebody for healing, please let me know. Now, Anna, I'm going to put this message up here to see what Anna said. She said, now I know I've been doing everything right, and I can understand why been feeling so happy during the lockdown. Excellent. That is excellent, Anna. And it really, really does pay. It really, really does. So just reach out to people as well. I know people are sending those things out. Are you okay? Just pick up the phone and speak to people. I still don't advocate emails and text messages. I'd rather somebody pick up the phone. Although I say that, my phone is so busy that I put it on silent and only answer it when I feel like it, because it just gets, a bit silly. But we're all there to help. We're all there to help. So let us help you in some way. All right. Really, really important. I think everybody would agree that it's been really lovely talking to you tonight, Jacqui. And I think, so I'm going to call you my soul sister, because you're more than a cousin to me. And we've been so close over the years. And even though we didn't sort of get to know each other until after I was 40, it was just bang, and it just went from there. And of course, your family, absolutely love them. And I've spent lots of time with you. We do silly things like have copious amounts of food to drink and then sing all night very badly. So I'm looking forward to you coming up and spending time here, and then I'm going to invite some of my friends down to meet you as well, so we can have a barbecue on a Tuesday night.
Nobody will come out on a Tuesday night.
Aha, in the rain. So that happened when Jacqui and her husband came to the UK, and the weather wasn't very good. It always isn't in the UK.
No.
And I said, oh, I'd love my friends to meet you, so I'm going to have a barbecue. I said, the only night we can do it is a Tuesday night. And she said, nobody will come out on a Tuesday night. And it was going to rain as well. So I put up 3 gazebos, do you remember? And we created a corridor into the kitchen.
Yeah, I do.
It did, absolutely threw it down, but we had the best barbecue and party. It was just lovely. And I think we had 54 people came, something like that. It was just wonderful. So listen, it doesn't matter. It could be raining outside, but it's never raining in your heart. And that is very, very important to remember.
Lovely.
Yeah, it doesn't rain in your heart. Your heart is always, and also your heart and you are always connected to your loved ones in the spirit world. And they're always there to help you. And they're the ones who will give you the kick up the bum saying, for goodness sake, get out and do this. So yeah, and that's what we want to be able to do. So okay, I think we're going to do the healing bit. So I want you all to imagine that you're holding hands. Okay, all right, hands across the world, and we're sending out love and healing through our left hand, and we're receiving it through our right hand, and we're just going to send that energy right across our world to all our animal kingdom, to all our plant kingdom, to every single human being on this planet, and then take it further and take it into the universe. So we're completely encompassed by this wonderful healing energy. And I'm going to put my favorite song on. And I don't know what point it's come in at, but we're gonna listen, and then we're gonna sing. So you have to wait for the chorus. It's the best song, the best healing song ever. So send those energies out, left hand, right hand. Send it out to everybody. Thank you, Bella. There's the chorus on the screen. If you care enough for the living, make a better place. To make a better place. This is the chorus. Make it a better place for you and for me, and in time you embrace. There are people dying. Make a better place for you and for me. Feel the world. Make it a better place. For you and for me, and in time you embrace. There are people dying. Place for you and for me. Feel the world. Make it a better place for you and for me, and in time you embrace. There are people dying. Make a better place for you and for me. People dying. Make a better place for you and for me. There are people dying. Make a better place for you and for me. You and for me. You and for me. For you and for me and the entire human race. And we've just sent that healing energy out to every single one of you and every single one of them out there. And we know that the energy that we send out is received where it is needed. And at the moment it's needed everywhere. So even though they don't know they're getting it, they're getting a big dollop of stuff from all of us today. And I think that is important. Listen, at the end of the day, we're just normal, ordinary people who happen to be able to do the things that we do and have these gifts. And if we can share just one little tiny bit of what we do, then we've done an amazing job. I always say with my mediumship, if I go into a hall full of 500 people and touch one person, I've done the job that I was meant to do. And I know Jacqui feels exactly the same. So send your love and healing out to every person that you can. And, you know, walk down the street, and if you see somebody whose energy is a bit flat, you can tell. You just send them that healing energy. Don't do what I did. I'm going to leave you with this. So I know I've shared this a couple of times, but I'm just going to leave you on this one because it's funny. I was taught, or I read, that you can send a laser beam of light out to somebody and give them healing that way. And I was reading the book on a train going up to London to work, and I just finished the chapter, closed my book, and as I looked up, there's a young man on crutches standing against, or leaning against the wall of the train carriage. So I thought, oh, I'm going to give this a try. So I imagined this laser beam of light, and I zapped him with it and fell over. I've never run so fast off a train or on a platform in my life. I don't know if it's me, but I'm not hanging around to find out. But I thought, oh, it just made me laugh so much. But you know, you can do that. You can just send that beautiful light and that beautiful energy to anybody that you see. No, I was trying my best, Bella. Anyway, love to you all, and thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you, Jacqui, for joining me. And we're looking forward to seeing you here in the flesh very soon. Healing energies to you all. Okay, thank you, everybody.